Good morning and welcome to the Point. It is Wednesday, April 7th, 2021. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN, Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11 and 20. Good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9 and the folks joining us on the Party Grenada and Go To Fet Facebook pages. Our guest this morning is Minister of Infrastructure, Senator Norland, and he's here to give us some of the latest happening within his ministry. Good morning, Senator. How you do?
Pleasant morning, Blossom, and pleasant morning to your listeners as well. I do hope you had a wonderful Easter.
Oh, yes. I slept it out. I slept out the entire weekend.
But it couldn't be any better than that.
Exactly.
Rest is always good.
I agree. All right. So, Senator, let's start with we're getting into the second quarter of 2021. What are some of the plans the ministry has on its agenda that it will tackle specifically during the second quarter of the year and taking us into the rest of the 2021?
Well, we have thank you very much for that. We have a number of projects that are ongoing and that are going to commence in the second quarter. And if I should list them out, we have the Monkuma Road. Currently, that road is being designed by Gillings Engineering, and we are very hopeful by the end of this month or so, or early in May, we should have those designs completed, and so that we can tender that project out for work to start in this quarter. Also, with the traffic lights, the retrofitting for our traffic lights, those bids are being evaluated currently, and so we expect to have work that contract issued this quarter as well. The St. John's River, we also have bids in for the work at the St. John's River. Is a long outstanding project. So the people of River Road and of course the parliamentary rep has signaled their anticipation for those work to be completed. So the bids are in and the evaluation is completed. I think there are some negotiations with the contractors, the bidders, the tenders, and then work should commence. Once we issue those contracts, we get no objection from the tenders board, procurement board, then we can move forward with that. And we believe all that can happen this month. The Sottis Breakwater project is the study is ongoing and it should be completed with the designs within this quarter as well. The Extreme Rainfall project in Guav, including Brothers Bridge, that project is currently out for tender and we should have bids back within this quarter as well. And also may be able to issue a contract to successful persons in this quarter. We have the substation, the sub-fire station at the St. David's police station. We're trying to establish a fire department there. So that construction will commence in this quarter as well. We haven't tendered it out as yet, but that will be done, and there is enough time in this quarter to have that done. The Simon Cultural Center as well, we are working to have that project also tendered out this quarter and commence as well in this quarter. We believe that we can get that done as well. So those are some of the major projects. We also have the boat projects, that is the fire station in the south. That we believe we can have that agreement signed in this quarter and possibly commence as well. So those are some of the major projects that we are looking at. And most importantly, I want to mention the Western Main Road Corridor project. The last time I did update the public, we had the completion of the feasibility study. Now, yesterday, Cabinet approved the design options that will be used to implement that project. And so that is one of our main projects right now. We understand the impact that the current road condition, especially in the Mount Morris Jones area, is having on our commuters, and we empathize with them. This Western Main Road, Molyneux area has really significantly negatively impacted transportation to the north of the island. It's really impacting a lot of businesses as well because the trucks now have to go all the way around in some cases. So it's a challenge for everybody. And we are working tirelessly to ensure that we have this work done as quickly as possible. So I think, with that being said, I will spend some time to give some more in-depth reporting on the Western Main Road corridor, because that is a critical project and probably one of the most important projects for the ministry at this point in time, because it impacts the entire country. So the feasibility study is completed, and Cabinet has approved the recommendations in terms of the design options. And a number of options were considered by the consulting firm. One of those options was to condemn the area completely and to reroute into Monkmorris, widening Monkmorris Jones Road. That presented a number of challenges because a lot of houses, the road is basically locked with a number of permanent structures, and that option will impact maybe 30 to 40 homes that will be at some significant cost. So that option was not suitable. Also, there was an option for a bridge, a flyover bridge. That was one of the options. There was also an option to realign the road to have a new passover going more to the seaside. That was also looked at. And another option that was also looked at was to keep the road where it is, currently just moving it slightly laterally to the slope and locking the slope at the top and at the bottom. And so the road can go back in its almost in the existing area where it was. So those are the options that were presented. The option that Cabinet did approve was the last option that I mentioned, to keep the road where it is, to stabilize slopes on both sides, at the bottom, straight all the way down to the sea, and also on the hillside. So that is the option. And we are working now to have those options go back to the bank this week, at the CDB this week, as a recommendation coming from government and in agreement with what those discussions were. So that is where we are with that option. This evening, we are hoping to, we have a planned community meeting this evening. The ministry, myself, our engineering team, and the parliamentary rep, of course, the Prime Minister, will be there to speak with the community, the residents in the Molinier community area this evening at 5, to have more in-depth discussions and to get some feedback as to some of the challenges that we're having, and to answer some of the questions and concerns as to how this project is going to be progressing. Based on where we are seeing a September, October commencement of work. That is what we're looking at. There are a number of things that have to happen between now and the commencement date. We have the preliminary designs, which will take about 2 months. We have the final designs, will take another 2 months. And the procurement period to go out to tender and to come back and evaluate might take another 2 to 3 months as well. So we are looking at the last quarter of the year thereabout to have this work start on the Western Main Road. We are moving as very fast as we can. We understand the challenge, but when you work with the bank, there are procedures, there are mandatory procedures that we must follow to make sure that they do their reviews, because they have to account as well. So it's not just us alone. So the team is working very hard to ensure that we get this moving. This is top priority for the ministry, for the government to have the Western Main Road. And remind you, the Western Main Road is not just the Molinier area. It spans all the way, the project spans all the way from the Kirani James Athletic Stadium to the St. Mark's Secondary School. It's a 26-kilometer stretch of road that encompasses this project. It's a significant project. Added to that, when we commenced the work on this project, we didn't have Molinier to contend with. So Molinier happened after this project was conceptualized. So that is some additional costs for government for the project, which we have contemplated. And we are just working out those details to fill that financing gap. But those are the main issues where we are right now. And we are very excited. We believe that we have a good plan, and we're going to get this done as quickly as possible as we can. And so that is where we are, Blossom.
With the feasibility study, any Does the study speak to what actually caused the land slippage? I'm talking about the Molyneux area. What actually caused it to progress so quickly and so much? And would the plan be for lack of a better word, permanent solution, or as permanent as we can expect? Or will it be a temporary fix?
Okay. Yes, the study did present those findings. Based on the geotechnical investigation, what the findings reveal is that the area, the area that was impacted, the Molyneux area that was impacted, it's a gravel-based area. It's a gravel-based area that was locked between two tough rock on either side. So what happened with continuous rain, heavy traffic, even when we have a small seismic activity, all those contributed to the gravel moving, getting loose, and causing that slippage. And then the base also is rock, so you have the gravel sliding on that as well. So those are basically the key components that were extracted in terms of what really caused that. And so because that is just a pool of gravel that is locked within that area, we believe that once those remedy, the works, the infrastructure works are implemented, yes, we will resolve this problem permanently. As I said, significant work has gone into the design. A number of engineering considerations have gone into the design to ensure that the work is permanent. And as you can see, we are dealing with the bank, and the bank would also have their engineers reviewing those designs as well. And so it's not just the ministry engineers, it's not just the consultant, their engineers, but also the engineers that are consultants to the bank as well. So we are confident about that. But that is basically what transpired. It's that area, just confined within that area where we had some gravel. So a number of, as I say, heavy rains, which happened over a period of time, heavy traffic. We have more vehicles running the road now. We have heavier vehicles running on the road now. So all that contributed to that slippage taking place. And so movements were actually taking place over a period of time. But then it will give way. And then, we had experienced a number of seismic activities over the past 3 to 5 years. So that contributed to as well to those to that slippage. So those were the key findings from the feasibility study.
What about construction in that area? I was surprised, I think it was in January when I visited the area to see the road, that a house was being constructed not on the side of the slipper, the other side of the road. I was a bit taken aback, and that brings me to future plans for maybe the same landowners, homeowners that may be able to build back their house. Is that possible? Their homes in that same spot, or would construction be blocked, banned from that side of the road?
Well, I don't have all the in terms of the design of what it would look like, but all that area where the gravel, the slippage is, there are going to be infrastructure works. Based on what we are seeing, what they're recommending, it's going to be a terracing construction. The slope stabilization will be done as a terrace, going all the way down to the seaside. So those homes are may not be able to go back, but there will be some slope stabilization structure there to ensure that there is no more movement going forward. So that is something that may impact those homes where there are those that are directly, especially the one that is most significantly impacted, and those that were already lost. Some already went down, so they're definitely there within the core area of where we have to do remedial work. So obviously they cannot be built back at the same area.
All right, just inquisitive. Over the weekend as well, there was, can I call it an incident in the Crowshoe area of a bridge that was reportedly damaged. What's the situation in that community, in that area?
Okay, well, in the Felix Park area, Crowshoe, there was a heavy equipment that was trying to traverse across a small bridge to go and do some infrastructure work. However, the integrity of the bridge could not withstand that equipment as such. it damaged the bridge, the structure of the bridge itself, and also severed one of NAWASA's main pipe that was feeding water to that area. Fortunately, NAWASA, the team went out quickly, and I must commend them for the speedy response. And that was repaired, I think, the following day. The pipe was repaired, rerouted, and water was restored to the community. Yesterday, our engineering team went out to assess the bridge, and we are currently preparing a scope for repair work for that area. So I just want to thank the community members. They were the ones who quickly draw that incident to our attention, and that allowed us to respond as quickly as possible. The bridge can now be used for light traffic only, not for heavy traffic, until repair work is done. The parliamentary rep did reach out to me also quickly with pictures and videos to show what is taking place. That's Minister Pierre for that area as well. So everybody is on top of the incidents in their community and surroundings. So we are very appreciative of that.
Well, that brings me to a concern that I've heard in the public domain for a very long time now. The roads that we have may not be fit for heavy equipment, heavy trucks, or say some of these roads. Is this a matter that we're looking into in terms of what our roads can sustain? I'm not just talking about bridges, but I'm talking about the actual roads that most of us use, and the damage that is being done to it by some of these heavy equipment and heavy trucks, the tractors. And so how are we looking into it, and what can we do?
Well, what is taking place with the roads is a consequence of growth and development in Grenada. So it's not just larger vehicles that are a culprit of what is taking place with the roads. It is also the amount of vehicles. There are more vehicles on the road traveling more every day. And so that also contributes significantly to the impact on the road. Also, when those roads were done, I think probably were redone about 10 years ago, they probably may not have done it to take vehicles of that tonnage that is happening now. So we would have to look at that. Definitely that is an issue for concern for any work that we have to do in repairing those roads going forward in a significant way. Consideration must be given for what is taking place now, and also what anticipate what other activity that may come in the future as well. So those discussions are ongoing, and we have looked at it. And as I said, we are doing our best to see how we can speedily have those repairs done. We know that it's tough. I drive out there myself, and so I understand some of the challenges, but we are working seriously to have those remedied.
Somebody on the WhatsApp is inquiring, well, they're saying, I'm not hearing much about the Pleasance Road and plans for its repair. Any update on Pleasance?
I don't have any information on Pleasance in front of me. That we can look, that person can always call the ministry to verify whether or not when we're going to do work there. But there is a number of areas, and we have done quite a bit already within the first quarter, and some of the work is ongoing, and we are continuing to do. So. There's a lot of work. I can tell you that the ministry, we are engaging a number of contractors who in turn is creating employment. And that is what we're trying to do because in this critical time with COVID, a lot of persons they cannot find job in their respective areas, in areas in where they have the competencies. So construction has been fill that void for them. Either directly or indirectly. So you may have persons who used to work in the hospitality sector. They are now preparing meals, going to construction sites, selling breakfast, lunches, and things like that. So we know the importance of what we are doing in terms of driving the sector with construction work. That is where our focus is right now, to ensure that we impact the economy in a positive way by creating employment in the sector. That is our commitment, and that is what we're trying to do.
The conversation about the Western Main Road, somebody is inquiring, any explanation for why the main road in St. John, the place called Mabuya, has not been fixed over the past approximately 20 years causing Mount Nesbitt Local Road to be used instead. What are the long-term plans? Any plans for Mabuya, which in truth has been or should not be used, and has been that way for a long time?
It's an area that I've also investigated. I think there are some geotechnical work that has to be done there. There is some water issue. So we are looking at it. As I said, I'm just made aware of it, just coming to infrastructure in the past couple of months. And it's something that I've raised with the engineering team. So it's something that we're going to look at. But I was told that there is some issue in terms of some geotechnical work, hence the reason why the road has not been resurfaced. I think there is a need for us to treat with that, to fix that first before we do any permanent work. So thanks for raising that. But yes, we are looking at it.
All right, let's take a break, Senator Cox, and then come back and get to more of the questions that have already started to come in. This is To the Point with Minister of Infrastructure Development, Senator Norland Cox. We'll be right back.
Grenadians in New York are coming together to pay tribute to our nation's COVID-19 victims and other people who died during the pandemic. The recognition would be in the form of a service of remembrance that would be streamed live via Zoom from Our Lady of Refuge RC Church in Brooklyn on April 18th. Streaming would begin at 4 p.m. and end at 5:30 p.m. under the theme Remembrance, Recognition, and Tribute. Grenadian culture will be showcased in performances from gospel artists, prominent Calypsonians, and the popular cultural group Quake USA. Now, we need your support in providing us with the names of your loved ones who were lost because of COVID. Please email the names to covidmemorialgnd@gmail.com. That's covidmemorialgnd@gmail.com. Let's all remember our dear Grenadians who COVID has taken from us. Zoom in to the live stream Sunday, April 18th at 4 p.m. from Our Lady of Refuge RC Church in Brooklyn. God bless.
Hey folks, you're invited to tune in to Grenada Music to the World program, hosted by Eugene Gittens on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9, Hot FM 98.5, 98.7, GBN TV, and all their social media platforms. The only totally local music program in Grenada, representing all genres of music. So it's Green's Music to the World on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on GBN with the music icon himself, Mr. Eugene Gittens. See you then.
There's no better way to start your day than with me on Good Morning Grenada. Covering everything you need to start your mornings off right. 6:35 a.m. on weekdays on all GBN platforms. Good Morning Grenada, adding a little blossom to your mornings. Welcome back to the Point. We're speaking with Minister of Infrastructure, Senator Norland Cox, and it is at this point in the program we're going to invite you, our viewers and listeners who may have questions for him. This is your opportunity to ask them. The landline number 435-2041. That's also the WhatsApp number. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp, and you can also send in your comments, questions, queries, concerns on the GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Let's go to our first caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom, and good morning to the Minister. Blossom, Monus area, Grandance, Limaki Mall. There is a building that was broken down there between Ivan or whatever. But that building had damage there, and it's right around the corner. And I don't see that they should allow them to build back that piece of building right to that corner there. It's a bad corner, right? I'm calling on Mr. Cox to see something happen. If they have to build that building there, make sure that they make it smaller. Cut out part of it, because part of it before was building with wood. And I don't see that they need to build back, because, French, you want to use the whole of the area, the whole area. You don't want to leave nothing out. And with people in Granans, we're looking at they should do something about it, because we're discussing that, and we're looking at what will happen if they're allowing to build that building there. The election will be coming up in a while again, so we're going to know what to do. And number two, over the Spiceland Mall and the hill there, the people up there start building some little houses coming down that area there now. If you look over the Spiceland Mall, there was some little houses that coming down. Which since Miss Hood was in there before, we talked to her about it, and she said they're going to do something about it. It was one greenhouse there. Now it's a lot on top of the hill, and they start coming down the other side. Please try to stop these people from building this little shack house coming down in that area there, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Senator?
Thank you very much, caller. As regards to the building by Lamarcky Mall, I just want to make some clarification. Infrastructure, we do not deal with those matters in terms of where a structure have to go. That is with physical planning. So they are the ones that would have to give okay whether or not a building should be where it is, whether it's appropriate or not, and not infrastructure. So physical planning, which is under the Ministry of Finance, they deal with those matters. So I think that is something that they will have to look at and give the appropriate guidance on whether or not it is appropriate for the building to be there. So that is not something that I can speak directly to. As regards to the houses on Spiceland or Spiceland Mall, that I thank you very much for raising that, and that's something that we'll probably have to raise with the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands so that they can look into that matter. So thank you very much for that. Yeah.
All right. Somebody on WhatsApp. Do you have plans, or do we have any plans to enforce people not to build so close, or that's physical planning, not to build so close to or almost on the roads, resulting in limitations for permanent solutions? Well, okay.
Yeah, but I understand the concern, and it is not just with that particular area, but it's a major concern throughout the entire country. You know, we are seeing it now. Like for example, in the Mount Morris, Joneswood area, where we were looking to widen the roadway. Some of the houses are so close to the road, you can't really do anything. So we are kind of locked out. So yes, it's an issue. But as I say, fiscal planning is the competent authority who deals with those matters. Yeah.
Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Citizen Welsh. Greetings, and by the way, good morning to your guests. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I'm hearing you, sir. Thank you very much, and good morning.
Great. Two things I want to talk to you about. A very interesting question was asked by Citizen Welsh related to the bearing capacity of the roads that we build in this here country. And I was taken aback by your answer. You hope to look into these things as we go along. That was your answer. My dear brother, it is time, and this is time past, that we had to seriously consider the thickness of the wearing caps that we apply on the roads of this country. Only recently, I heard an engineer on a road project in St. Patrick boasting of the thickness of the wearing cap, 50 millimeters. Now, he may use a big number there and he makes people believe, but that's only 2 inches, 2 inches of asphaltic carpet on a road where you have a 40-ton axle-bearing capacity is a waste of money, my dear brother. It's a waste of money. This can never last. If even you reinforce that asphaltic concrete with Portland cement, as is done on airport strips, it cannot last under the circumstances of today's traffic, sir. I wish you would seriously give that some consideration. The final thing I want to ask you about is this. Can you tell us what is happening in Laborie, sir? Where construction has been taking place with side walls and drains and then demolished. Total waste of money, the people's money. Can you tell us what's happening there and who is getting rich off it? Thank you very much and have a nice day, will you?
Thank you, Citizen Roland. Senator?
Thank you very much, caller, for your questions. And the first question that I think, just to clarify, I can speak clearly. in terms of the bearing capacity of the road, yes, I did indicate that that is something. If you notice right now in St. Patrick's, we are doing over the St. Patrick's Road network, and the type of engineering that is done there and the thickness of the road is far much more thicker than what was done previously. So we are responding appropriately in that regard in terms of ensuring that we build stronger for heavier trucks. So it is happening. I didn't mention it previously, but as a result, again, I can speak clearly to that. So that is happening. And it's much more than 2 inches that the road is, the thickness of the road in terms of the asphalt that is being placed there. All right. So yes, that is critical. We have to continue to make the necessary changes and improvements as we go along. As this in development takes place, we have to respond appropriately, and so we are doing that. So thank you very much for raising that. As regards to Laborie, yes, we have some variations taking place in Laborie on the project, and one of the challenges that we have is that no fault of the contractor, of course. The contractor were given designs. We had a consulting firm who prepared those designs a couple of years ago. But what we are finding out now as we are implementing the work, those designs have significant errors. And so there was some significant miscommunication between the supervising firm and the contractor. As such, we had to intervene to ensure and to make those corrections. So those corrections have been made. Yes, there are some cost implications, but it's not as significant as it looks. Some of the work that's already done, some of it we can use some of the materials that were prepared and were repurposed to other projects, to other sites. But yes, there was some cost implications there with those variations. So it is the matter has been resolved. The project is moving forward, and we hope to have those road work completed properly for the people of Laborie. So thank you very much for bringing that question to the fore. And so we are responding appropriately. Thank you.
As a follow-up to the road question, somebody on Facebook is inquiring, have we given consideration to having specific routes for trucks and other heavy-duty vehicles?
Yes, those discussions are taking place. We do have something like that similarly currently. If you notice, Marasil is a critical area for some of the larger trucks. And so that is one of the reasons why we are looking at the Monkuma Road. The Monkuma Road, basically, we are looking at it as a main trucking route. That is one of the things that we are looking at for that route, that we are moving quickly on the Monkuma Road. So yes, we are having those discussions. Yes, so that is being considered.
A WhatsApp question in relation to the project on St. John's River. Are you referring to the area that is the broken road in Mount Gay? And the St. John's River project, how much of the river is involved? The entire river, or is it specifically maybe in River Road for the flooding?
So that project spans from Steele's Auto, from the bridge from Steele's Auto right down to the mouth of the river.
Okay. So the rest of the river is not really a problem, for lack of a better word.
No, work was done previously on the upper part of the river. So okay. It's a continuation of the work. Yes. Okay. So it's from Steele's Auto, from that bridge, come all the way down.
Yeah. All right. No phone line, so let me go back to WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp is inquiring, what is the status with the new medical center in St. John? Lately, no activity is seen there as before. Is it completed?
It's not completed as yet. We had some additional works, some variation works. So the ministry and the contractor are ironing out those cost implications, and they're negotiating those final costs. And once that is done, work will recommence. But there are some additional things that were not included previously. And so, you have to negotiate those. So that is what is happening. But most of the work is done. The work that is done is more cosmetic right now. That is to finish up the outside, the yard. The retaining wall was not initially part of the project, the wall that you see there. So those are additional work. And so those are being handled right now. But I've walked through that building. Almost everything is ready. They were just doing some finishing up some tiling and some other things like that. So I did walk through the entire facility. Elevators are working and everything. So they're almost there.
Okay, well, I guess you answered the second part. I didn't see the second part the first time. They said that last time you were here, they asked the question, and you said work will resume within a week. However, weeks have since passed and nothing yet. So I guess you kind of answered that.
They're negotiating. That's what it is right now.
All right. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. How are you doing?
I'm good.
And good morning to the minister. Mr. Cox, it's good to have you this morning. I think it was a bit before your time. There was a program by the government called BRIP, Bridges and Roads Improvement Project. I don't know if you have been apprised of that since assuming that responsibility. I think you need to look at that if you haven't done yet. As a St. Andrews man, on the Eastern Main Road, sir, I've raised this on this program before. The Paradise Bridge, I don't know what is the status of that. It's been years they've been saying that that bridge needs serious intervention. And then the Mackey Bridge, the one on the bottom of Mount Silly Hill, I don't know if you know what that is. There's a little brick just at the side, the northern side of the bridge. And I don't understand how that could be there for so long. The second thing, sir, you, I think just over a year ago, stated that there was some machinery brought in to deal with the seaweed. So we have two machines that are missing. Can you please apprise the nation of what's going on? The seaweed machine and the machine for the Granite Tongue Lake, sir. We need to know. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Senator?
Let me take the last question first. I am not sure about this two machine missing. I know that the equipment at the Granite Tongue Lake, I think it was done, but I think it's been up and operational, and they've been using it to remove some of the reeds. I can't recall about two machine, but that is something that I'll be willing to just follow up on. I always like to follow up. I think it's important when persons ask questions to offer that clarity, and so I will look into that. But the idea was that same equipment could have been used to remove the seaweed, but there is also a plan to purchase a bigger equipment, separate apart. But I'm not certain if that because that was part of a separate project. So I'm not certain if it's conflicting the two. So that we can always clarify. All right. So if we did mention, if I did say something that created some confusion, my apologies. But that I can clarify going forward. Okay. Yes, and the bridges, going back to the two bridges, the Paradise and the Marquee Bridge. Aware of those two bridges. We had a discussion on our side, on the engineering side. The normal practice is that we do not break bridges down. What we would normally do is to build a new one alongside the old one, unless it is pose a challenge or a risk, then we will take it down. But otherwise than that, we normally would not take down bridges. So any work to be done on those two areas, we have looked at it, is to build a bridge on the side. For in the case of Paradise, it will be a 2-lane bridge, and that may remove the need for the traffic light issue going forward. That is what these initial discussions we had about that bridge. And the Marquee Bridge, if there is an opportunity where we can build on the side, then we build on the side, and we normally would leave that bridge so that pedestrians can use it for walking. So those are the approaches. But we do not have any definitive plan in terms of budgetary allocations to treat with those two bridges currently. But we have started the discussion on those bridges in terms of response, how we are going to treat them going forward. The engineering team have already started having those discussions on it. They may well form part of the budget allocation for next cycle, but they are not included in this year's budget. Okay.
Let me go to a YouTube question. Somebody on YouTube is asking, what plans do you have for the road in the Limes?
The Limes Road. The Limes, yeah, that road is pretty bad. We actually visited that area approximately 2 weeks ago. Myself, CTO, and engineer, we looked at it. I haven't had a definitive response back from the team as yet as to how we're going to respond. Either we're going to cut it out, pull it out, rip it up, and cast it back, or we're going to use asphalt to cover it. Those were the two things that were mentioned, but no confirmation on how they're going to treat it. But yes, that road is in need of serious need of some repairs. That I can see. Well, because we're looking at the road and also the playing field. There is a drainage and a wall there to be sorted out. So those are the two matters that we are looking to address there. Yes. So just as recently 2 weeks ago, we were there doing a review to see how we can have that rectified. But thanks for raising that question. Okay.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning to you, Blossom, and to all your followers, and to Minister Cox. I joined the program late, so I may have missed out on whatever was said. But have you given us an update on the breakwater situation in Sates? I know a study was being done, and we were promised a response within weeks or a month or so. I think a lot of time has elapsed. Is it a question that you have answered already? If not, could you please provide us with some kind of update on where we are with that? And finally, I know that you are relatively new to the position compared to some other long-standing ministers, but I am disappointed with the responses we are receiving as Minister of Works, and the lack of understanding, comprehensive understanding of where we are in terms of civil works in our country. It seems as though everything you said, we're going to look into it. We're going to look into it. Everything. I mean, do you guys have a plan every year? You look down. Do you have a list of projects to be looked at, matters to be dealt with within a certain time frame? I don't know. I mean, it is shocking. I don't want to blame you totally, but it just shows you the total collapse of our civil works program and that ministry. You spoke about things that you said had to be handled by physical planning. Physical planning also is a disaster because the people who are supposed to do the work, they get slapped on the knuckles every time they try to do their work properly. People go above their heads and get permission to do what they're not supposed to do and what the officers are telling them to do. We are in a terrible, terrible state in terms of the public service in this country. It is very, very disheartening, and you need to sit with your people, get a full update. So when we speak, looking into this and looking into that and looking into the other, we don't want, we're in spectacles right now, and we don't want you to have to get glasses too soon. Too much looking into things. But first of all, the question on the breakwater report. Anything on that? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. As the caller indicated, he was not listening early, and in response to say that the ministry doesn't have a plan, I indicated, Blossom, and just to go back, that I just indicated a list of projects that the ministry is working on for this quarter. And so we do have a plan. We do know what we are doing. But in terms of my response to questions that persons may have posed that I do not have information in front of me right away, you must understand the capacity and the vast, the amount of work that is taking place on the side of the ministry per se. I would not have all the information that has as the question come. So I must give a commitment to the persons who are inquiring so they can get back to them and respond. They can always reach out to me, and people call the ministry for follow-up, and so we do that. But I did list out a number of projects that we are working on, and that is we concentrate on in this quarter, and the Sates Breakwater is one such project. The study is ongoing currently, and as soon as we have the final report and drawings, we expect to have those completed in this quarter, and also once we can have the procurement process done smoothly, we can have some remedial work started in this quarter too as well. So thank you very much for that. And yes, we do have a plan as to our response in terms of the work to be done from a civil standpoint. So I do hope that helps. And the caller can always feel free to reach out to us for specific clarifications on any matter. We are going to provide those in writing and otherwise where we can. So thank you very much for that.
And Breakwater? You give an update on Breakwater?
Yes, I did say the study is ongoing. Yes.
Sorry, I was reading through some of the questions. There's a question on Facebook. Azakaya, can you give me an update on the Hillsborough port, and can you organize a meeting between MP Kendra Matthew Stewart and the businessmen of Hillsborough?
If I should recall, I know that the minister, of course, would have had one or two meetings with the business community sometime in the past. So I think the minister is capable enough of organizing such meeting. And in terms of the port is under the responsibility of the Greater Ports Authority. I do not have any report as to what is the status of the port or the jetty in Carriacou currently. That is something that if the wish person can call me, I can always reach out to Port Authority to find out what the status. But the port does not directly fall under us; it's Port Authority. So, and the minister, of course, I think she did meet with the business community on one or two occasions, if I can recall.
There's another Facebook question: the painting of speed bumps. A project plans for more painting of more speed bumps across the island. So somebody suggesting having some of the traffic wardens undertake that project.
The speed bumps, what we are looking at, we are trying to source some materials that will be more permanent and last longer. So when we mark those speed bumps and also have some reflective nature to it as well, something more permanent for the speed bumps. So yes, those are challenges. I don't know if that falls within the scope of the traffic wardens currently, but we are responding in that regard in terms of looking at the speed bumps. But we are looking to get some material that will last longer. As you know, the paint it quickly, after rain and vehicle pass over, it doesn't last long. So we are looking to get something more permanent.
WhatsApp, can you confirm how many professional road construction teams are in Grenada, and why is the road so humpy after the work is done?
I can't tell you. What is happening is it's repair work. It's patchy work, and it's not those potholes. So that is why you have those little unevenness in the road. That is what is happening. But if you notice, we have in recent times have been doing differently as we've been getting material from the hot mix from the asphalt plant. If you notice, we are doing continuous work. So you're not just seeing just a small pothole, but you're seeing a long area and a wide span across the entire roadway as well. You start seeing some of those work around, instead of just the small potholes being full up with the cool mix. So that is the response that we are moving. So once the asphalt plant is operational, we will be using hot mix to do the repair work going forward.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, and good morning to Minister Cox. I hope I could say all I could say, but I will try to do my best. First of all, I want to go on record as saying that Minister Cox have not been forthcoming with the whole of the truth in relation to Molyneux. That's all I will say for now. I want to be on record, because it will be proven sooner or later. I mean, people know about it. Anyway, that's besides that. In terms of some of the things he's saying, and I agree with some of the callers that he's sounding kind of very unprofessional, but he doesn't know and not sure. And so it's not sounding good as for your own professional thing. You may want to listen to it yourself. But it raises some questions in terms of, for instance, the sustainability of processes there. the government, the current government, clearly boasts that they are the ones that build most of the roads on them. And the minister saying, no, the roads was not built as strong as the road 10 years ago are not built as strong. It put an indictment on the regime. The other thing about it is that there are some projects that have been done, like for instance, there was a project in Calvini, the bridge. Anybody could have seen that many years ago. Anybody could have seen that this road was nothing but some party people were given a job. As soon as some rain came, it blocked up the thing, and they had to go and get new money to do things. A lot of those things. I mean, we're wasting money in this country. Finally, because there's many things I can say. In terms of the breakwater project, it's a sad thing that people allow things to happen, and then we have to pay the money, get the money or even the loan and the children to come. Because it's because irresponsibility on the part of the regime. Now, my organization wrote the minister right now, the Minister of Climate Resilience, asking them questions in relation to what the minister said this morning there about the studies and whatever it is. We have not got a response more than a month, asking certain questions about forces and so on. We've been ignored. And then you will hear the comment, we had studies and so on, all that kind of thing. Anyway, I could go on and on. I don't want to so I'm going back and out. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Senator.
Thank you very much. I do not know what about Molina that I wasn't forthcoming about. I am just reporting what the findings from the study. So if there is something not forthcoming about that, well then the person may have a different report or a different study. I don't know. I can't say. And maybe if he was a bit more specific, then we can get to the meat of the matter on that. Regarding to the roads, what I did said was that 10 years ago when the road work was done, we and everyone can attest to that. We do have much heavier vehicles. We do have far more vehicles on the road. So obviously the impact on the road is going to be much more. And those are the issues that is what is contributing to the deterioration of the road. And that is it. That is what is before us. We are responding differently going forward. And I did speak to what is taking place on the St. Patrick's Road network in terms of the response to how we are building the roads now going forward. So I am not too clear on that. And Calvin, I don't have any information. As he said, that was some years ago. Probably I wasn't even working in government at the time, so I can't respond to that. The breakwater project, I did indicate it when the matter was brought to our attention. We have responded. We have responded by contracting a firm, a coastal engineering firm in the name of Smith Warner International out of Jamaica. They do have a sub office also in St. Lucia as well. And the study we entered into a contract with them, and they are currently conducting the study. So I don't know what else I can say about the SOTIS project. And when that study comes, it seems that his organization is one that is concerned with the environment. Those information will be made. The study will be shared with persons who are concerned, especially the persons within the area. As we are doing this evening, we are going to have a meeting with the community members in the Molina area to give an update based on the findings of the study. And so likewise, I believe it's the same thing that we will be doing with the SOTIS area when that study is completed as well. So I do hope that helps. I can't say much more on that. The study is ongoing, and we just have to wait for the results.
There was a WhatsApp question about dealing with the drainage problem in Circular Drive in Grand Anse. I can't see the question, but that's the crux of it. Yes. Drainage problem in Circular Drive. And somebody else is also asking about there are drains about 3 or 4 places across Settlement Road in Grand Anse that should be painted to alert drivers. Okay.
The Circular Drive matter, we have issued a contract to have that drainage problem resolved. I myself had an opportunity to have a look at it. So that is been addressed. So the Circular Drive drainage matter has been addressed. That I know for a fact. So the settlement, what's the question on the Settlement Drive?
Some drains across the road in Settlement Drive that should be painted.
Okay.
To alert drivers.
That, yes. Thank you very much for that observation.
All right. This is where we're going to end the program. It just reoccurred to me, Senator, that you need to go to post-cabinet briefing, which starts in less than 5 minutes. So any final thoughts, 30 seconds? Any final thoughts, words?
Well, I just want to say thank you very much for the opportunity to be here to update the public on the projects that we are looking at for this quarter. And to thank the callers and the persons who send in questions via the social media platform. It is very important that persons do that, and we appreciate those engagements. We may not agree with all the sentiments give back, but we do appreciate and respect persons' opinion in that regard. And so we want to thank them for that, and thank you, Blossom, for spending time with me this morning,
No problem. Always a pleasure. And I'm happy that we were able to cover a wealth of topics as you kept your answers short and sweet. Appreciate that to the fullest. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Senator Cox is now heading off to post-cabinet briefing, which is scheduled to start at 10 a.m. He will also be joined by officials of the Grenada Tourism Authority for the briefing this morning, as there was no cabinet on Monday. Cabinet was held yesterday, Tuesday, so post-cabinet briefing is today. I believe we will be carrying post-cab on GBN TV, channel 7, 11, and 20, if my information serves me correctly. But this is the end of my time with you for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Point. Enjoy the rest of your wonderful Wednesday. I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Joseph is up next with Mid-Morning Buzz. Have yourselves a blessed day.